A freilichen Pirim, everyone. Welcome to our share in Dirshi Bahaluche. Bereshus Tamar Dasra, Gras Vadain Roof, Shlito. I understand most of the audience speaks English, so we'll say the share in English today. I hope that's okay. Welcome once again to a virtual share. A freilichen Purim to you all. If anyone gets thirsty, please help yourself. We could always get some cups. So we're on Reish Chaf Amud Beis. We're in Shin Samach Gimel, and we're picking up from Sif Yud. We're continuing to speak about the dinim of a mavoi that's opened up on the third side. So we said that you're going to be misakin this mavoi with a lechi. You're going to put up a lechi at the opening of the mavoi so that it should be mutter to be metaltal inside the mavoi. Says the Mechaber in Sif Yud. Let's say you distanced the mavoi 3 tfachim, distanced the lechi, 3 tfachim away from the wall of the mavoi. Or you raised it off the ground 3 tfachim. Puzzle, that lechi is going to be puzzle. But if it was raised less than 3 tfachim off the ground, even if the lechi is only 7 tfachim and a drop tall, kosher, it will be kosher. Explains the Mishnah Berurah in Ois Cotton Lamedalit. Let's say you distanced the lechi from the wall of the mavoi 3 tfachim. Now, the Mishnah Berurah points out that really we already covered this halacha because we spoke about this back in Sivav. In Zivav we said that the lechi has to be within 3 tfachim of the wall. We gave over there 2 possible reasons, if you remember. One was because if it's distance 3 tfachim of the wall, we could say as avir dahaygisa va'avir dahaygisa umavatile. The airspace on the 2 sides of the lechi, the airspace between the lechi and the wall, and then the airspace between the lechi and the wall on the other side of the mavui will join together and nullify, be mevatel the lechi, so it's as if the lechi is not there. That was one reason. The other reason we said was there are those shitas, and the Mishnah Berurah said we have to be machmer like this shita, that holds that there's a din in a lechi. A lechi has to be within 3 tfachim of the side wall. So now, over there, we were speaking about a mavoi there also. So the Mishnah Berurah is bothered. Why does the Mechaber bring up this halacha once again? Right? It's the same exact halacha that the Mechaber is saying right now. If you distance the lechi from the wall 3 tfachim, it's puzzle. So it's true, he also adds in the halacha of if you raised the lechi off the ground. But why does he bother mentioning this halacha here? So the Mishnah Berurah says, Ois Cotton Lamed Dalid, Afal Gav the Kfar Shanoi b'Sivav, even though we already learnt this halacha in Sivav, Chazaru Shanoi, the Mechaber repeats it over here, La'ashmi'inon Shehu Li'ikuva, to let us understand that this is Ma'akev, that if you did distance it from the wall 3 tfachim, it's puzzle. It's not only a din l'chatchila, even b'di'eved, this would be puzzle. Then the Mechaber continued and he said, or if you raised the lechi 3 tfachim off the ground, this halacha would be true even when we're dealing with a lechi that's 10 tfachim tall. So you have a perfectly good lechi that's 10 tfachim tall, but you raised it more than 3 tfachim off the ground. Now it's going to be invalidated. It's not going to be an effective lechi. Vatam, the Chavetz Chaim says the reason for this is the lechi is certainly not better than an actual mechitza. And what's the din by a mechitza? A mechitza shenetula shloisha tvachim in a aretz. When you have a mechitza, if it's raised 3 tvachim off the ground, so that there's a 3 tefach gap between the bottom of the mechitza and the ground, the psula, that is not an effective mechitza. Mishum to have a mechitza shagediyim baikin tachtel, because this is what's called a mechitza that a young goat, a kid, could walk right under, and that invalidates a mechitza. The loishmei mechitza. However, the Mechaber did say that if it's raised less than 3 tfachim off the ground, then if the lechi is 10 tfachim tall, it's certainly good. The Mechaber said in that case the lechi does not even have to be 10 tfachim tall. The lechi itself could be 7 and a mashahu. It could be 7 tvachim and a drop tall, and then you add to that the 3 tvachim or less that is open on the bottom, and that's because of lavud. So from the bottom of the lechi to the ground is considered closed. So now you have 10 tvachim. So the Mechaber said in that case it would be kosher. Says the Chavetz Chaim, is katan lamed vav, kosher mitam lavud. This would be kosher because of the din of lavud. Ve'avi kimolei zeh hamakom aponui. Because now we look at this open area from the bottom of the lechi to the ground as if it is really closed, and that's really a continuation of the lechi. So now you have a perfectly good 10 tefach tall lechi. The Mechaber continues in Sif Yud Aleph. Afilu lo yasoi l'shem lechi. Even if you did not make a lechi, l'shem lechi, you didn't make it in order for it to be a lechi, to be mesak in this movie. Elo shen is damen lo shamei elav. Rather, this lechi just happened to be there. Kosher, that would be kosher. Zok the Mishnah Berurah nice cut lamed zayin. Shem is nizdamin loy sham me'elav. This lechi just happened to be there all by itself. So the Chavetz Chaim gives an example. Kigoin sheyotza blita mikaisal hamavli. Let's say some stones were sticking out of the side wall of the mavli at the corner. They just happened to be there. You didn't put those cinder blocks over there in order to be a lechi. Just maybe the mason was originally planning on turning the wall, so when he built the cinder blocks, on every other row, he turned one cinder block going in. So now, like we said yesterday, you have cinder blocks turning the corner at the front of the mavli, and if those cinder blocks are within 3 tvachim of each other, so we say lavud, and that would form a lechi. But you didn't make this to be a lechi, it just happened to be that way. So, and you have a height of 10 tvachim with this lechi that just happened to be there. Or maybe what happened is you just happened to go ahead and dump lumber down over there. I don't know. You bought pavers for your yard, and you put up a stack of pavers right next to the side wall of the mavli. And now you come out in Shabbos and you say, oh, wait a second, I forgot to build my lechi. Oh, you know what? Those pavers make a perfect lechi. But you didn't put it there l'shem lechi. It just happened to be there. I feel it's still, the Mechaber said that such a lechi is kosher. And the Mishnah Berurah says here, we're right next to the Chav Ches of the Shar Hatzion, Va'afilu loy kavai hu ba'atzmai. Even if you didn't put it there, it's not that you went to Home Depot and you bought pavers and you happened to stack your pavers there. You had nothing to do with this lechi at all. Elamei olam hu sham. It was there forever. It just happened to be there. In the Shar Hatzion, nice cut in the Chav Tes, the Chavetz Chaim gives a case. Kegoin shegadol sham ilon. What if a tree, a sapling of a tree, happened to grow up over there, right at the opening of the mavli, right next to the side wall? That would be a perfectly good lechi. There's nothing wrong with the lechi that's mechubar lekarka. So you had nothing to do with this lechi. You didn't put it there intentionally to be a lechi. You didn't put it there by accident and it ended up being a lechi. You had nothing to do with this lechi. Or maybe it was Purim, and a guy drank a little bit too much, and he fell asleep leaning right next to the wall. So he didn't drink l'shem lechi. He drank l'shem Purim. He just happened to be standing over there and he fell asleep and you tied him to the wall. So now he's a good lechi. Well, you didn't tie him there l'shem lechi. I guess you tied him there because you didn't want him to hurt himself. Gam kain kosher. And why is this kosher? The lechi mishum mechitza. Because we said many times already that a lechi, the mechanism of a lechi, it works midin mechitza. Umechitza haimedes me'aleha kshera. And we've already said previously that a mechitza that just happens to be there is a valid mechitza. So for instance, if you were in a valley and you had a hill on one side and a hill on the other side, you didn't make those hills. The Rebbeinu Shalom made those hills. And he didn't make those hills l'shem lechi. So those hills just happened to be there. They make effective mechitzas. So a mechitza abba me'eleha is a mechitza, and a lechi abba me'eleha is a valid lechi. However, there is a caveat to this. Says the Mechaber weiter. Let me find the place. Okay. Says the Mechaber 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines from the top. So we said that a lechi abba me'eleha is kosher. However, Ubelvad sheyispechu alav me'erev Shabbos. The caveat to this is that if it's a lechi haba me'elav, you want to use that stack of pavers to be a lechi, it has to be that on Erev Shabbos you made the decision that I'm going to rely on this stack of pavers to be a lechi. And we're going to see a caveat to this as well. But if you didn't decide to rely on this lechi from Erev Shabbos, let's say we had a case over here where you went ahead and you made a lechi. You put up a lechi at the opening of your mavli to be misak in your mavli. That was on Thursday. Friday morning, you went to Home Depot to buy your pavers, and you put a stack of pavers next to the opening of the mavli. Then what happened, says the Mechaber, the nafal b'Shabbos, but your lechi that you put up on Thursday fell down. And you came outside and you said, oy vey, my lechi fell down. What am I going to do? Then you looked and you say, hey, wait a second, I have a stack of pavers. So now you want to rely on the pavers to be your lechi. Loi, that you cannot do. So again, to recap, what did the Mechaber say over here? The Mechaber said a lechi haba me'elav is good. The caveat is that you have to decide on Erev Shabbos that you're going to rely on this lechi that happened by itself. You're going to rely on it to be a lechi. However, if you didn't decide before Shabbos that you're going to rely on this lechi, and the case he gave was you had a perfectly good lechi, but your lechi fell down on Shabbos. Now you realized, wait a second, I have a stack of pavers. L'chara, I could rely on that to be a lechi. No, that you cannot do. Says the Mishnah Berurah in Ois Cotton Lamed Ches. The case that the Mechaber gave where you cannot rely on the lechi haba me'elav is where you had a different lechi, so you were never intending to use this lechi haba me'elav. Now the lechi you had fell down, and now on Shabbos you decided you want to use the lechi haba me'elav. The reason this is no good, says the Chavetz Chaim, is because by virtue of the fact that you had a different lechi to rely on, so it's as if you said, I'm not using those pavers. I don't need those pavers. It's not only I never had positive intention to use those pavers, by the fact that you have another lechi, you're not going to use those pavers. And therefore your pavers, they are idche. They're pushed away from being a lechi. Since you had in mind that you're going to be saimach on your real lechi, and you're not going to be saimach on this lechi haba me'elav, so the lechi haba me'elav got idchi midin lechi, mitaras lechi. It's not considered a lechi anymore. Now, so far what we've said seems to be pretty strict. We've said so far, a lechi haba me'elav is good, but you have to decide on Erev Shabbos that you're going to use it. If you didn't decide on Erev Shabbos that you're going to use it, just you decided on Shabbos that you're going to use it, because on Shabbos something happened that made you need it, because your real lechi fell down, that's no good. So it sounds so far like to use a lechi haba me'elav, you have to make a decision on Erev Shabbos, I am using that lechi haba me'elav this Shabbos. Now we're going to see that it's not quite that way. Says the Ramah, let's say you did not have another lechi on Erev Shabbos. So you didn't have another lechi on Erev Shabbos. The stack of pavers was there, but you never made up in your mind. On Erev Shabbos, you didn't walk outside and say, oh, you know what, I need a lechi. I'm going to use that stack of pavers. No, maybe you forgot all about your lechi. Maybe you didn't even realize on Erev Shabbos you needed a lechi. Or maybe you realized on Wednesday that you needed a lechi, but then on Thursday you got drunk because Thursday happened to be Purim. So when you got drunk and you fell asleep on Thursday, you forgot all about your lechi. Now Friday came and you have a hangover, and it's also Shushan Purim, and you don't live in an ear that's mukaf kaisel mimais yeshua bedun, because then you don't need an erev. But all right, but now on Friday you forgot about your lechi, and now on Shabbos you woke up and you said, oy vey, I forgot to put up a lechi. But then you go outside, you say, oh, stack of pavers, I could use my stack of pavers. So you didn't have das on Erev Shabbos that you're going to use your stack of pavers, but you also didn't have a lechi acher It's not pshat that you had another lechi that you're going to rely on. So it's idchile mitaris lechi. So you pushed off the stack of papers. No, you didn't push off the stack of papers. You just never had anything in mind. You forgot all about it. If you did not have a lechi achem erev Shabbos, then the Ramah says ki ilu samchu alav dami. Then it's as if you were going to rely on the pavers. Seemingly, even though you never made a positive decision that you're going to rely on these pavers, it doesn't matter. Since you never made another lechi, you never pushed away the pavers from being a lechi. So now you could use this lechi haba me elov. Says the Chavetz Chaim in Ois Katan Lamites, Kilu Samchu Alav. It's as if you were going to rely on the pavers. Even though you never made a positive decision, you certainly never made a positive declaration. I'm going to use those pavers to be my lechi. Doesn't matter. Still, it's good because you never did anything to push them away from being a lechi. However, says the Chavetz Chaim, Achein, in beferish lo samchu alav. If you did an action or you said something in a way that indicates that you were not going to use those pavers, not that you had a lechi acher, you didn't have a lechi acher, but you either did or said something else to indicate that you're not going to use the pavers. Kigoin, for example, shaloi tiltalu b'Shabbos she'avra yidei lechi zu. Let's say last week Shabbos, you did not use those pavers. The pavers were there. But last week Shabbos, you didn't use the pavers. Last week Shabbos, you said, on Erev Shabbos, you said, I need a lechi. I should use the pavers? Nah, it's a lechi abba me'elav. Maybe it's a shaila, maybe it's not so lechatchila. I'm going to go put up a lechi. So last week, you didn't use those pavers. Last week, you made sure you put up a lechi. Now you want to do it this week? No. Actually, the Mishnah Berurah says that in the previous week, you did not have another lechi. So the previous week, you only had the stack of pavers, but you didn't carry in the mavu. You said, I don't want to rely on those pavers. So last week, you didn't rely on the pavers. Now this week, you want to rely on the pavers? That you can't do. Because by not using it the previous Shabbos, it's as if you were madchit beferish from being a lechi. Says the Mechaber Viter, another halacha in a lechi haba me'elav. Says the Mechaber in Sif Yud Beis. Lechi ha'aymin me'elav. When you have a lechi ha'aymin me'elav, afilu samchu alav me'erev Shabbos, even if you decided on Erev Shabbos that you're going to rely on this lechi ha'aymin me'elav, and we said that's when a lechi ha'aymin me'elav is kosher, when you decide that you're going to rely on it from Erev Shabbos, still there's a caveat when it's not good. Let's say this mavli, the open side of this mavli, is more than 8 amos wide. Then, halechi bailet l'saychai arba amos. Let's say this lechi is a very big lechi, and the lechi goes into the opening of the mavli 4 amos. So it's not a lechi of a mashahu. I don't know who I'm looking at over there. I'm not even recognizing you with the white face. I'm sorry, somebody just came in to give Shalach Manas. Our Freilich and Purim. Oh, now I got you. Okay, because now you talk. Wow, so I'm actually talking to you. Look at that.
Hi, if anyone's actually watching the shir.
Okay, well, I don't know if you're going to recognize him, but he's here. Somebody came to hear the shir. Baruch Hashem. Okay, so thank you so much for coming.
Is this for a visual guide?
Yes. Oh. Yeah, yesterday I used it also. If the lechi is a big lechi, and it actually turns into the opening of the mavli 4 amos, then it cannot be used as a lechi. Then we don't consider that to be a lechi. And you're going to need another lechi to be misaken this mavli. And you should put it on the other side of the opening of the mavli. So let's understand what's going on over here. And now I'm going to call upon my able-bodied videographer to please come here for a moment, and we're going to show you what's going on over here. So, whoa boy, don't get seasick. Okay, not too bad. Okay, we're good, we're good. Okay, Now we're going to come over here. All right. So, over here, we have our mavli. Normally, we put a lechi at the opening of the mavli. So normally that would be our lechi. But what we did over here was we put up a very big lechi. This lechi is 4 amos. And the opening of this mavli is 8 amos. So now we have this very big lechi. Guess what? Even though this lechi is good, and this lechi could be masak in the mavli and allow us to carry in the mavli, this big long lechi is no good. Why is this big long lechi no good? The reason why this is no good explains the Mishnah Berurah. Lechi ha'oimed, a lechi that is a lechi. I'm sorry, I should point out. Boy, I'm a little confused. This, we have to remember that this is not a regular lechi that we put up to be a lechi. This is a lechi ha'omed me'elav. So maybe what this lechi actually is, maybe we went to Home Depot on Thursday and we bought a whole bunch of sheets of plywood. And we stacked up a whole bunch of sheets of plywood over here until we got to a height of 10 tfachim. And that is now what we're trying to use as a lechi. So it's a lechi haba me'elav. If it was a real lechi, we're going to see, if we actually put it up to be a lechi, then this halacha that the Makaber is talking about would not be negeya. This halacha that we're talking about is where this is a lechi haba me'elav. So here we have a lechi haba me'elav that's dalet tfachim. Says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cut and mem, lechi ha'omed, shir dvarav kachu. The measurement of the Makaber's words, the intent of the Makaber is as follows. Taha de kasa b'sif yod aleph. This that we said in Sif Yod Aleph, the lechi ha'omed me'elav, that when you have a lechi that happened by itself, v'samchu alav, and you decided on Erev Shabbos that you're going to rely on it, mahani, it's an effective lechi. Dafke im alechi einay boilet l'rachvay shel mavli arba amos. That's only true if it's like a stack of pavers, so it doesn't extend into the opening of the mavli dalet amos. But on the other hand, Aval, imu boilet v'yoytze mikaisal abayis. Don't get confused from the fact that the Mechaber says the word bias. He's talking about a house. He's talking about where there's a house over here. It's not negeya to the halacha. It could be just extending from the wall. But if this lechi haba me'elav is big and it comes 4 amos into the opening of the mavli, then it is no longer an effective lechi. Why? Oz nafak le mitaras lechi. It is nafak mitaras lechi. It's no longer able to be a lechi. Mishum sheyesh by shir heksher shel oirich mavli. Because a wall that's 4 amos long is already long enough to constitute the wall of a mavli. What does that mean? Well, we know that there's a special din to a mavli. A mavli that's closed on 3 sides. So we said that a mavli is different than a chotzer. A chotzer, in order to be mesakin it, you need either a pas dalid on one side, or you need a lechi on 2 sides. Whereas a mavli, you can't do with you don't do with a pas dalid or with a lechi on each side. A mavli you could do even with a lechi on one side, or we're going to see you could also do a mavli with a kaira, with a beam going across the top. Now, there is a minimum size to a mavli, and that minimum size is that the walls of the mavli have to be at least 4 tvachim. 4 amos, 4 amos. So the walls of a mavli have to be at least 4 amos. So by putting up a 4 amma piece over here, we no longer look at this as being a lechi. We now look at this as being a kaisel, because it has the minimum requirement in size of the wall of a mavli. So now this becomes wall. It becomes wall, not lechi. Now you might ask yourself, well, why is wall a problem? L'chara, wall shouldn't be a problem. Wall should even be better than a lechi. So let's continue the Mishnah Berurah. And the Mishnah Berurah says, V'shem kaisel mavli Allah, 3 lines off the bottom. V'tzarich lechi acher lepesach hamavli la'atirai. In this case, you would need another lechi to be mater, to be masak in this mavli. You would have to put a lechi over here. Imloi shahamavli eina machzik rachvai rak shmoina amos. Unless the whole opening of this mavli is only 8 amos, and this piece is 4 amos. then it's fine. Then I don't need this lechi over here. Why? The heavy oimid kaporutz. Because if the whole opening here is 8 amas and this is 4 amas, so then I have oimid kaporutz. The choshev amavi kasasa mikalat stadin. And now this mavi is considered mukaf mechitzas on all 4 sides, because you have 3 real mechitzas, and over here you have amud is equal to the parutz, so this is also a mechitza. So again, let's recapture what the halacha we just learned is. We said, Alechi Abba Me'elav is good if you decided on Erev Shabbos that you're going to rely on it. However, we're saying now, if this Lechi Abba Me'elav happens to be 4 amas long, then you cannot rely on this Lechi, because this is no longer a Lechi. This now becomes a kaisel. But this is only true if the opening of the mavoi is more than 8 amas. If the opening of the mavoi is 8 amas, so then this 4 amma piece and this 4 amma open are equal. So it's the parutz and the oimid are equal. Since the parutz and the oimid are equal, this is considered closed. And now you have no problem, because this is actually a complete kaisel. Sagt the Chavetz Chaim weiter, is cut mem aleph, me'elav. This whole halacha only applies to a lechi abba me'elav. Dim ha'emidai l'shem lechi, because if I actually put this up to be a lechi, this 4 amma piece, not that it's a lechi abba me'elav, I feel a rachav abba amas have a lechi. Even if it is 4 amas, it's a valid lechi, k'masha kasav b'haga. Membeis, arba amas. The Arba Amas have a sheer kaisel mavli v'leke ekera cloud lechi, because since once you have 4 amas, that's the sheer of a wall of a mavli, it can't be considered a lechi anymore. Aval ad Arba Amas nucha lechashve lechi, but up to 4 amas we would consider it a valid lechi. V'hu desamcha alav me'erev Shabbos, as long as you decided to rely on it on erev Shabbos, v'chanal b'sif Yud Aleph, like we saw in Sif Yud Aleph. Now we're going to just continue to the end of this sif. We're on the bottom of the mechaber. The mechaber said that when you put up your new lechi, you should put it on the other side of the opening of the mavli. So here's your 4 amma piece, you should put it here. Now the mechaber says, if you want to put your new lechi next to the 4 amma piece, ya'asenu ma'at av oidak Yoiser me'ablita, you should make it either thicker, I don't know if you could see on the video, but this lechi is thicker than this 4 amma piece here. Either you should make it thicker, or you should make it thinner than the wall. And the reason for that is, kedei sheyeh nicker shu l'shem lechi, so that it should be obvious that this is a lechi, not an extension of the wall. Now says the Ramah, Haga, v'im ha'amidoi l'shem lechi. This whole halacha only applies by a lechi oimid me'elav. But if you put this 4 amma piece up l'shem lechi, this like kala shetiknu lechi l'mavli zeh, so there's a coil. People know that you made a lechi for this mavli. Then afilu rachav arba amas have a lechi, that even if it is 4 amas wide, it is okay. You don't have this problem. Says the Mishnah Berurah, cut mem gimel, afilu rachav arba amas v'adin yaisa mizeh, or even if it's longer than 4 amas, it's perfectly fine. V'atam, and the reason is mishum deriba bepesach hamavli b'stimasai like garam ilechi d'alma. Closing off more space at the opening of the mavli isn't worse than a lechi, and it's like I said by the beginning. Which one would you think is better? Would you think this is more effective of closing a mavli, or do you think this is more effective? Certainly, the more you close, the more effective it would seem to be. The only thing is we have a technical problem. Since this was a halacha, a lechi, a lechi, abba me'elav, we don't rely on it if it's 4 amas, because we treat it halachically as a kaisel, not as a lechi. But if you put it up l'shem lechi, if you made it there as a lechi, then it is effective. And even though this share was a little bit short, we're going to stop over here. Everyone should have a freilich and Purim, and Mirz Hashem, we will pick up again on Sunday evening.